There's a lot of good points, and let's hear from Jackie's perspective. And specifically, I think a lot went on in the schools. For instance, I think a lot of Hispanic children were bullied. Classmates said, "You're going to be deported," and bullied about the wall. And, I'm sure Mexican children, the fact that Trump made the remark about Mexicans are only sending us rapists and murderers and the worst. So I'm sure a lot of Mexican children got a lot of bullying over that. So talk about, Jackie, and your feelings from a woman's perspective, but because of this type of language, the impact it had in the schools.
Yes, I heard a story, I think it was today, where a little Mexican child in Texas, I believe it was surrounded by a few Caucasian boys who said to this Mexican boy, "We're the wall." Now that is really base. I mean, that's really so regressive. It's just hard to believe that, we had come so far with, human rights and civil rights for a child to be surrounded by other kids in any sense is very frightening. But to be put out like in that way, like we're the wall and we're gonna basically expunge you. You're not valuable. You're not important. You're, just it's hard. It's hard to even visualize. The scene. It's so upsetting. Yeah, I think that this campaign in general has really run roughshod on our entire culture, and has trickled down to the schools. Children don't need to see grown-ups, using vile words on both sides. I am very, as a woman, I am not happy with some of the words that Hillary Clinton used, and I'm obviously not happy with, anybody scoring parts of anybody else's bodies. I think that, objectifying anyone is nonsense. But, for kids to be watching this day in, day out, night in, night out, hearing nothing of substance, just, this one, both parties just really not discussing anything of substance, anything about, human relations, but actually defying any type of human rights right out, time after time after time. I mean, I know as an adult, I was really dreading. It was just getting to the point I was dreading watching the television or opening the newspaper. The New York Times in the last 18 months has probably not had one day without a negative story about Donald Trump. I'm not sure about Hillary Clinton, but just about every single day, the front page was a derogatory story. And on other newspapers, it could have been about Hillary Clinton, but it was just constant, debasing people and not looking at, what are the good points, to not teaching kids to say, this person did, excelled at this person excelled at that. How can we work together? And that is something that we're really going to have to show children. It's almost like not like an apology that Donald Trump and we all have to make to children. It's an amends, like a 12-step amends. People have to really start behaving differently. Language can only do so much. It's, opening the door, shaking hands. It's how people look at one another, body language. People are going to have to make, amends, and by being different, acting differently. Language is just not enough anymore. We have to see people trying to cooperate so that children can learn to cooperate. I saw a little picture, I don't know if it was on Facebook, a little chair that was called the friendship chair, and then if you were looking for a friend or friends, you might have seen it, and little kids could go and sit on this little chair that was colored in, and other kids, you know, who had, somebody like my son would have gone over and sat and had lunch with them. I mean, instead of, you know, oh, look at that kid sitting by himself, you know, let's all go gang up on the loner. Like we have to put some friendship chairs in Congress. You know, we need some friendship chairs, like, you know, everywhere. You know, and we have to look at each other's humanity, you know, that the things that we do have in common, not the things that we don't have in common. I think in terms of the schools, you know, I think a lot of damage has been done in the last 18 months, you know, on all of us. So
Yeah.
I really think that, yes, I saw that. I was going to mention this. This is very important.
Okay, what is this, Andy?
It,
Want to read it, Rocco?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. It says, we need to care less about whether our children are academically gifted and more about whether they sit with the lonely kid in the cafeteria.
that's exactly right.
Yeah, we talked about that several weeks ago, and you know, the other thing I want to bring up that I think